Alright, I just have to make a video about this. I don't have time to script it, but it's just that funny. This speech of Representative Ilhan Omar. And I want to make it clear why I think that she's a thing at all. Now, I know that there's a lot of types of people who are in that 7 or 9% or whatever it is that actually identifies as progressives and might potentially support the squad, as they're now being called. I was calling them the Congressional Brat Pack, but we can call them the squad, I suppose, because that's equally cringy sounding to me, and it's basically an insult, really. I think Ilhan Omar, in particular, she's just so funny. Like, she's so, funnier than AOC. AOC has gotten a little bit old, and it's almost kind of scary how much influence she actually really does have. And I once made a video saying that people should pretend to like AOC, and I'm kind of regretting that now because it's like, careful what you wish for. But Ilhan Omar, it's hard for me to believe that all that many people really are in favor of her besides aging white women. I think it's the aging white women. I think it's the aging white women maybe having an influence over other people and being like, no, 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 she's stunning and brave, blah, 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 blah. But I just think about young people, people who are in college, people who are in the late teens, people who maybe are up to about 40 or so. And I'm thinking of them looking at somebody and her atrociously embarrassing public speaking skills and also her embarrassing speech scripts. And, I don't really see that many black feminists anymore on the internet. I used to see a lot more, but it seems like maybe they've kind of gotten the memo and that's like, wait, this is not helping us. That's just what it seems like. It's mostly just the stragglers on seem to be white women. And the younger white women, I don't really see saying a whole bunch about Ilhan Omar. They will say, oh, don't say bad things about women of color. Sure. And I suppose they'll probably defend AOC, but I don't really ever see them saying, no, Ilhan Omar is great. She's strong and intelligent or blah, 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 blah. I just don't see that topic of discussion. And I've known a lot of aging white women who are progressives because I grew up in Seattle and my mother is a feminist. And a lot of the aging white women that she knew and continues to know that I see on holidays, they just fall for this stuff hook, line, and sinker. This, like, ooh, look, she wears a headdress. It's sort of a hijab, I guess, but kind of a headdress. And they look at things like that and they think it's cool. And they're so used to the soft bigotry of low expectations. They've grown up with that as the example of how you're supposed to treat racial minorities, that they really don't realize how condescending it is. And it's just a particular thing about aging white ladies. And so when I watch this speech, I imagine them being the people nodding and saying, yeah, yeah. But before I show it, I just want to mention that Ayanna Pressley is in the background of this video. And she's actually a very good speaker. I will totally hand it to her in terms of speaking. She delivered her speech well. It was reasonably well written considering the content, which was questionable, but she's actually quite a good speaker. She seems dignified, intelligent, confident, and the type of person that I can totally see why people would vote for her. I'm not here to insult her, but I want you guys to notice her face as she is in the background listening to Ilhan Omar, who is honestly somebody with the literacy skills of, a high schooler. Really, like, you would expect a congressperson to be bright, and I realize she's from another country, but supposedly she came here as a kid. I don't know, it kind of seems like she would speak English and be able to read a little bit better by now.
Thank you, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. This country was founded on the radical idea that we are created equal and endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights.
Okay, now for the next bit, I'm gonna zoom in on Ayanna Pressley's face.
And yes, we have a long way before we fully live up to those values. It is for this reason precisely that we have to take action when a president is openly violating the oath he took to the Constitution of the United States and the core values we aspire to.
If anything, Ayanna Presley only gets more and more awkward and nervous looking as it goes on, but she's desperately trying to suppress it. I also like to play this clip when people are about to start lying a bunch because she does from this point onward.
We commit terrible crimes and we smile at the delight in getting away with it. Now, that smile is known in the trade as duping delight.
As Martin Luther King said, all we say to America is, be true to what you say on paper. I believe this is a pivotal moment in our country. The eyes of history is watching us. Right now, the president is carrying out mass deportation raids across this country in each one of our districts.
I am having trouble figuring out what the lie is, though.
Right now, the president is committing human rights abuses at the border, keeping children in cages, and having human beings drinking out of toilets.
Oh, wait. I think I found the lie.
Who has been credibly accused of committing multiple crimes, including colluding with foreign government to interfere with our election. This is a president who has overseen the most corrupt administration in our history and pursued an agenda to allow millions of Americans to die from a lack of health care while he transfers millions of dollars in tax cuts to corporations.
Wow, so insightful. She understands politics almost as much as I do.
This is a president who has said, grab women by the pussy.
And now so have you. I guess you can't be president.
This is a president who's called black athletes sons of bitches.
That's not a racist statement.
This is a president who has called black people who come from black and brown countries shitholes.
Do I have to say anything about that?
This is a president who has equated neo-Nazis with those who protest against them in Charlottesville.
Oh, shut up. No, he didn't.
This is a president who has openly violated the very value our country aspires to uphold: equality under the law, religious liberty, equal protection, and protection from persecution. And to distract from that, he's launching a blatantly racist attack on 4 duly elected members of the United States of House of Representatives, all of whom are women of color.
Now, that's actually could be construed as a somewhat reasonable explanation for what he's doing in the way that he was doing it as a distraction, everybody seems to think. But you don't really say why, ever, in this entire speech. None of them do. And that's the really funny part. They basically just say, he's distracting us so that he can continue to be Trumpity and Trump will still can orange man-y Trumpy. He wants to still be himself.
This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden.
Okay, ignore her poor English because I'm sure that's what stood out. But look at how gleefully she says that. I'm going to play it again.
This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden. He would love nothing more than to divide our country based on race, religion, gender, orientation, or immigration status.
Who is Barack Obama?
Because this is the only way he knows he can prevent the solidarity of us working together across all of our differences.
By the way, I don't think aging white ladies know that solidarity is code for communists being friends with each other. Just saying.
The only way to prevent us confronting the problems our country is facing, whether it is healthcare, climate change, student debt, or our endless wars. This is his plan to pit us against one another. This is how he can continue to enrich his friends and distract us from the detrimental policies that his administration is pushing forth.
So basically, he's distracting the world savers.
So we can either continue to enable this president and report on the pile of garbage that comes out of his mouth, or we can hold him accountable to his crimes. We can continue to turn a blind eye of the multiple crimes he's accused of.
Okay, think about how nonsensically untrue that statement is. Get a grip. There is no blind eye in the Democratic Party, the progressive establishment, Democratic voting America, the media. Every single seeing eye is on Donald Trump's every action, and you know it. We all know it.
We can stand while he violates people's basic human rights and the responsibility that his administration has for the deaths of children on our border, or we can take action.
I wonder if we have to worry about some people thinking that means Allah Akbar! Get busy, Antifa!
I have not made impeachment central to my election or my tenure. But since the day that I'd gotten elected, I'd said to people, it is not if he will be impeached, but when. So it is time for us to stop allowing this president to make a mockery out of our Constitution. It's time for us to impeach this president.
Oh, that's the punchline. I guess I was kind of hoping for something. Something? Something at all? I don't know. Ilhan Omar, you're just so incredibly embarrassing. You're talking about his mockery of the Constitution? Is that even a typical talking point that they bring up about Trump? Because I don't even remember them really saying that. I thought that the typical Democratic Party line was throw out the Constitution, get rid of the United States borders, sorta, basically, and, you know, totally just rewrite everything if you want to, or whatever. And then the Republicans are like, no, we're constitutionalists. We're going to stick by not only the Constitution, but what we think it probably really was supposed to mean. That's sort of what I remember. Because I don't think I've heard that. Anyhow, I'm not really sure how much else I have to say about this. I just thought it was so silly. And, yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Follow me on minds.com so that I can quit Facebook. Thank you.